Good morning, everyone. I hope everything is okay and your connection is good. And mainly, you are well, taking care of yourself, and also taking care of others. My name is Marcelo. I live in Colombia, in Bogota, and we are quite close, okay, from Miami. I have wonderful experiences in Miami. Every time I go, I really love. So it's nice to be there in Miami. Even so, it's subtly, it's virtual, but it still is very beautiful. And today I'm going to talk something I'm talking a lot about. I don't know what's happening, but I'm talking so much about resilience. I'm doing a course in Spanish on resilience. We are in the middle of the course. I have some work with a company also. The theme was resilience. I have this lecture, and next Wednesday I have that same lecture in Portuguese, so it's full. And why? Because there is a crisis there. If you don't know, okay, there is something going on, and that's going on. We are not prepared. I have been reading a lot. I have been talking with people who are experts, and they say some very interesting things. They say there was no pandemic that people were following up. Normally, the pandemic they knew after it was over or in the middle or when things were crazy. But this is a real, on live pandemic, and it's the whole world. Even the world wars, they didn't involve so many countries as this one situation. And that situation has affected the macro big time. You know, whole areas of the economy, they are going down, unfortunately. But also it's affecting me as a person, as an individual. It's affecting the people who are close to me, or worse, who are not close to me and who'd love to be close to me at this moment. So it affects so many people. And resilience is exactly the faculty we all have that allow us to, well, to face the situations and to be able to manage them. And we are talking today about resilience focused on the relationship, or a healthy relationship. So I'm going to use a PowerPoint presentation there, so I hope you can see it well. Okay, I hope it's good in your screen, as this is going via Facebook, so I'm not sure how it works there. And someone is chatting here, so I'm going to follow the chat as much as possible. So yes, it's visible. Thank you. First of all, what is resilience? So resilience, first of all, it's something that comes from materials from construction, for instance, okay? But let's say this pen you can see here. It's a very simple pen, it's plastic. So if I try to bend the pen, it does bend, just a little bit, tiny bit, but it bends, okay? After bending, it goes back, bounces back to the former shape. That's the resilience. So the resilience is the capacity of the material to bounce back to the formal shape. Here I put something from Wikipedia so you can easily check. It's called the psychological resilience. It's the ability to mentally or emotionally cope with a crisis. But most important thing is not only coping. When the crisis ends, so let's say the crisis is a path you have to go through. So how was I here at this point before the crisis? And how will I be at the end of the crisis? So because there are some things happening here in between, so how do I manage all that? And if I'm good, so if I leave the crisis with the hair on and everything okay, and well, maybe you are a little thing, but not too much, not too bad. then your resilience is good. If you leave the crisis even better, then your resilience is excellent. And many times, what happens with material is that if I bend too much, two possibilities. Either it will stay bent when, oh, I just heard a crack here. Oh my God. Either it stay bent when I leave the hand, when I stop forcing, pushing, or it will break. And that happens with humans also. We can break also internally. We can get traumatized, or we can bend, and some things we lose during the crisis. Many people are talking about the new normal, and that's what everybody's waiting for, the new normal. I'm talking about the new chapter. I think it's a little more powerful. And anyway, there will be a moment when the crisis will finish, will end. At that moment, how will I be? That's the most important question right now. It's not much the crisis, but how will I be? How do I feel? And of course, to be like that, I have to do some things during the crisis. I have to operate in a different, total different level. That's why I put this little concept on resilience. Is the inner capacity we all have to go through a crisis, to learn, to progress, and to move on. So that's the resilience. So I would like you to just disconnect from everything you have. Don't disconnect the equipment, please, but just disconnect from everything else. Because many people, when they are listening to a lecture, they're also texting here in their cell phone. Oh, very interesting, or they are doing other stuff, they are talking with other people, maybe they are cooking there. So just disconnect from the things you are doing. Just just go beyond anything for just 1 second, 1 minute, and just see yourself after the crisis ends. Just see yourself after all the danger and the problems you are going through end. See yourself, and also, because that's the topic of the lecture, see also other people. See in your mind, please. Just see in your mind. Just give that time. Were you able to see? Were you able to realize? There is a picture there. I don't know if you can see well, but it's a picture of people parachuting, and they are together. So they got their hands together. They are there, and of course they are enjoying the moment, you know. But they visualize themselves safe. They reach the soil, the ground safe. They'll be okay there. So if they know they are okay because they have all the security and all the stuff there protecting them, so they can enjoy even more. And that's what we are going through. We are not going through a crisis, if you don't like the word. We're going through a big adventure. We are parachuting. And the thing is, we are not sure where we will land, but we know it will be okay because we are together and we are doing everything possible together. The other thing is, what's a relationship? And that's very important to think about. What's a relationship? I'm Latin American, I'm Brazilian, but I live in Colombia. And for us, relationships is all. People, they can lose their jobs, they can lose everything, but they lose someone, that's a tragedy, you know. But you can see relationship in a different way. A relationship is a way of helping all parts of relationship, everyone involved, to develop certain qualities we otherwise would not do. For instance, if you don't receive that much love from your mother, tomorrow is Mother's Day, by the way, so happy Mother's Days for any mother who is there watching us. So if that mother didn't give you that much love, you have problem. Love is inside everyone. We all have love in our hearts, but the relationship helps us to grow it in a certain way, to make it better, to improve it in a certain way. So when you, that's why you enter into a relationship. I'm not so much a people's person. I'm more a computers person, but I have learned, and I had to learn that if I don't get into contact and connection, if I don't talk, if I don't share, then wow, it will be very, very difficult for me to develop certain type of love, peace. That's why we have relationships. That's why we connect with people, because those people, they wake the best part of us. Well, okay, sometimes the worst, but normally in a relationship, at least a healthy relationship, they always make you grow. They make you a better person because they contribute something to you, something special. And you know, it's difficult to measure, but you could say a healthy relationship enriches you because it expands your horizon. You can see reality in a different way. So if you are with someone who is empowering you, in fact, you are becoming even poorer than more poor than before, something's not right. And I'm not meaning money. I'm meaning in terms of your patience, in terms of your love, in terms of your courage. If you are so courageous, then you get into a relationship, you got coward a little bit, something's wrong there. So that relationship stimulates comfort. It gives rest to your mind and to the mind of everyone. So for 1 minute also, think about your relationships. Just check how healthy they are. That was a metaphor used many years ago. I wrote a book. It's an unpublished work, but it's about healthy relationships because I learned how to have these healthy relationships, and I wonder why people can't have them, and they are so important, so important. So this lecture, small lecture, we'll try to, or this conversation, we try to blend both the need of resilience and also the need of this healthy relationship. Okay, so, and some people are asking question here. If it's okay that I just respond at the end, so I hope it's fine, so I don't lose the thread. Okay, if it's very urgent, you just put urgent, then I'll help. The thing is, sometimes change turn into crisis, and change, they they are welcome. I think everybody loves change when they are good, when they come to good things. And but the funny thing is, crisis is change. In fact, there is a process of change. No, there is change, and some people can call it like just a transition, something soft, then crisis, then chaos, then transformation. Transformation is the last part. Transformation means literally going beyond the form. Okay, if you get sand, you are in Miami, so you can go to the beach. I think you can't go because of the quarantine. I'm not sure, but what the day you go, you just get the sand there. You go to a place and you put in an oven with lots of pressure, so that becomes glass, melted glass. Then someone gives a shape, and eventually you have a glass. Okay, and the transformation is such that you, if you get the glass and you throw on the floor and you step on that, it's still glass. It doesn't go back to the sand anymore. Okay, crisis is a necessary point. Is that point where all the molecules of sand, they are under the pressure, under the heat, and they have to change. If they don't like, doesn't matter, they have to. So if those molecules, they were human, they could scream, they say, no, please, no, not anymore, no more quarantine, please, please, no more. Because they are there, but that's a necessary part. So crises, they are not good, but then what? We can't just jump over. We have to go through. So again, you can go through with a sad face or grumpy, or crying, or you can just think it's an adventure. It's a beautiful adventure. And when we talk about relationship, there is something else. When a change affects one person, it affects everyone in the relationship. That's why there is a bridge there. So the bridge is a metaphor used for relationship. You can either build a bridge or a wall. You can also build a bridge with different lanes, many lanes, very comfortable, or you can build a wall and the wall has different sizes too. That's how you can work with other people there. So what about your bridges? Are they okay? Because if one person is going through an earthquake, you are also going through that same earthquake. Maybe you feel it low, not much, because it's there, not me. But I will feel, and there will be sorrow, there will be sadness, there will be many bad and very worse emotions. And the crisis, they create that because you are losing something when the crisis comes. It comes out, it's slipping through your hands, and you try to grasp. We are trying to grasp to the old normal, to how things used to be. And many people, when they start to think about the new chapter is just go out and move on and do the things as they used to be before. And that's the dream we all have. But history has shown us that any big crisis, any huge, and especially global crisis, they have a big effect. And you can't escape from that. You have to see how you survive. That means you have to increase your resilience because that's what resilience is for. So in this case of the pen, you have to change the material to increase the resilience here. But in the case of humans, you don't need to do that. It's much easier, much, much easier. So I hope it's okay. Yeah, the concepts, if you want to put questions, you can post questions. I will respond at the end. Okay. Resilience is used to handle a crisis. So the more resilience I have, the more able I will be to cope with the crisis. And most important, because that's the way we measure resilience, when I leave the crisis, I'll be okay. No, maybe like me, you lose some hair. What can I do? I mean, but you'll be otherwise quite okay. Yeah. There is another problem, in my wardrobe. I just realized, and I think some people are already researching on that. But the pants, they shrink when they stay in the wardrobe for 1 month. Yeah, it's amazing. I put the other day a pant and it couldn't fit so well. So I have to do something with them, right? So that's the resilience for to make you leave the crisis quite well. But there are three other words you have to be careful about. And they look like resilience sometimes. They are not. And I'm talking here very practically about a crisis. So there is a crisis. Maybe it's the coronavirus crisis. Maybe it's a crisis in your marriage. Maybe it's a crisis because your mother-in-law was with you during the quarantine. Or maybe the crisis because the cat of the neighbor is always coming there. Oh my God. So you can't handle it. So resilience comes from within. And resilience is based on your inner strength. It's like a plant, like a seed. The seed go to the soil and the seed start to grow. The seed has to break the soil to grow. But the seed doesn't break the soil. In fact, the seed is strong. So that's why the seed grows. So it's a different thing. But there are the three words, they are similar even in the writing. Resistance is a reaction against situations. The problem with resistance is that you are fighting so much that you are not allowing yourself to understand. Resilience comes also from understanding. And resistance, I don't like it, so I'm fighting. And so many people are trying to fight in this crisis. But the resilience is different. And again, I'm not talking about resistance in terms of romantic concept. I'm talking about the practical fact that I am denying a reality. I'm not well with this person. Something's wrong here. There is some vibe, strange vibe. And let's understand that when you resist, and resistance can also be just escape from the situation or evade, but there is a law, and that law is universal. Whenever you try to fight situations, situations get stronger and stronger and stronger. I don't know if you have practiced judo. When you practice judo, you rely a lot on the strength of the other person. The more the other person is resisting to your movements, it's easier for you to make them fall. The second word is rebellion. And I'm not talking again about this romantic rebellion, about the rights and all of that. No, I'm talking about rebellion where you don't do anything really. You just You're like, I'm grumpy there, and yeah, this is bad. So everybody talk to you, and you say, yeah, this is bad. Yeah, that's bad. That person's bad. The food was horrible. This weather is horrible. Everything is horrible. But you don't do anything. You don't change. You're just rebelling. You're you're avoiding the change by just getting inside yourself, and you're not really fighting, and you're living a dual life, a double life because you are living the change, you're working with the change, you are just enjoying reality, and you are trying to go against it also at the same time. That doesn't work so well. And the third thing is resign. I resign to life. I resign to trying to make things change. Resilience is so powerful that when you work with resilience, you become the one generating change. Resistance, you are just trying to fight. Rebellion, you are not even fight. You're just there against. Resign, you just become like a shadow of yourself. But when you are really resilient, a resilient person, then it's amazing because then you become stronger, you become good, and you can do things that you didn't think you were able to do before. And in terms of relationship, is even worse because when you resist to another person, when you try to fight the other person normally fights against you. When you just rebel to the other person and you don't do anything, you don't talk, you don't dialogue, that thing becomes like a stale food and there, and it will smell badly after a while. when you just accept things as they are, you resign, you're just there, okay, you are the powerful, so I'll do it. So what? You you stop being yourself, and that person loves you because you are what you are. Maybe when you resign, that person will get content for a while, but they won't love you much. So be careful. So we can work on resilience in terms of relationships. Because if your bridge is not resilient enough, it will break down. It requires lots of quakes and storms and hurricanes to break a bridge, but it is possible, quite possible. And in a relationship also, especially nowadays, we have been living the age of the internet, right? And it's wonderful. I'm connected to the whole world. Maybe this lecture is being watched by someone on the other side of the planet. It's quite possible. It's really amazing what we have done with the internet, technology, science. It's incredible. But at the same time, we are losing connection with the real people, worse, with the real self, the one I am. I am so much connected with the image I see on the screen there, or the things I wrote my posts, or the things I like, all the videos of cats and dogs, that I forget who I am. What was my objective again? What have I been born? What's the reason I'm here? Why do I have a relationship with this person in the first place? What's going on here? You forget. There was a very interesting video. The video was posted many years ago. It was in the beginning of the boom. Well, there was very several stages, but that moment was a moment where everybody had not wanting to do a advertisement here, but everybody's there in Facebook. Okay, so everybody was having an account for Facebook. To say you didn't have an account in Facebook was what? You what? And they posted this video, and the video was short, and it was called something like "Happiness in the Times of Facebook," and it showed a guy who was going through a very tough period in relation to his own life, but also in his relationship with his partner. So the couple was breaking, and it was very tough. But in Facebook, he was always showing himself happy. He was cheating a lot, you know. He used to get a car and going very far and put himself like he was doing exercise, take a picture and post it in Facebook. So many people were joining him, so many friends, so many. And one day, this guy posted, "I'm not feeling well." And then the friends always start to leave him alone there. And that's the point we have to think how many people really I am in touch. And probably the resilience has everything to do on the capacity I have to handle other people, to handle their personalities, their dreams, their projects, their ways of doing things. If they eat with their open mouth, if they are not respecting my spiritual views, if they voted for the other person I voted last time. Horrible, right? When I'm resilient, I'm able to say, "Oh, yeah, it's good, it's okay, no problem. Okay, you think different than me, I think different than you. I don't intend to think like you, please." And you can just enjoy our lives together. That's it. That's the adventure. How to increase that type of resilience? How can I really enjoy the love, respect of other people, and they can enjoy my love, my respect? How can we feel peaceful when we are together and not like two cats ready to fight there? What can we do? That's a question for you. It's a question I cannot answer, but I'll give you some tips. That's the only thing I can give. And the tips I give, because I'm with Brahma Kumaris, so tips I give will be in relation to this organization, a place where I am for about 40 years. So before going there, I want you to think about those questions. Again, how can I enjoy the peace and love others give me, happiness, all the good qualities? How can I make them enjoy that from me too? Just think. Because they won't stop being what they are. Maybe they won't stop disturbing me, upsetting me. They won't stop demanding. But is there any way to work with that? Think about it. Just for 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. Let's see how to increase resilience, particularly in relation to a relationship. So I'm talking here about powers because resilience is connected to self-empowerment. So to increase your resilience, that means you empower yourself. So remember, what's resilience? Again, you come into a crisis in one way. Your hair, good, bad. So you go through a crisis. At the end, you end bald or hair like mine or something like that. So your resilience is a little less. So the situations affected you. They changed you during the time. Sometimes you get even better, and I enjoy my new haircut. So I'm much better now. So the crisis affected our relationship, affect the marriage, affect the relationship with the child. But now I understand my child. Oh my God. For the first time, I was able to dialogue with him, with her. It's amazing. So it's more. So probably your resilience is very high. Or during the crisis, and when you end the crisis, you try to resist, you try to fight, or you just get there sulking there, somewhere in the corner. Or or you just give up. Then that means your resilience is very low. So think about how you are behaving now during this situation or whatever situation you have in your mind. Just think about. So I'm going to share you 2 powers that will be very useful for your resilience. By developing those powers, then you will be able to increase your resilience. The first one is obvious, which is tolerance. And it's interesting because in the Brahma Kumaris organization, they show tolerance as a tree bearing fruit, full of fruit there. Amazing. And then some children come to the tree and they start to throw stones. And the only way for the kids to stop upsetting the tree and disturbing the tree is when the tree gives the fruit they want, the quantity they want, the quality they want. Then they'll be happy and they will leave the tree in peace. That's tolerance. You recognize your own power and greatness, your fruit. So, what's the fruit you want to give others? And from within, you accept what's happening, understand it, and you give people what they are looking for. So maybe they are looking for the peace you have, maybe love, maybe respect, maybe courage, a bit of your courage there. So tolerance doesn't mean okay, I want to kill someone. No, it means just loving. Is another way of loving others. So you have so much. Why not sharing? Why not giving others a bit of what you have? Just a bit. They'll be happy. So how does it work? When you have a problem in a relationship, something is happening there. If it's something that's happening from time to time, not something that happens every day or periodically, but something that happens from time to time and you don't like, it affects your job, the effect of your work, anything. So you can just go into meditation and you can just think about your own power, your own energy, your own greatness, how peaceful you are, how loveful you are. Just think about everything you have and check which of those inner treasures you have will help that person to be happy, content. That's the main question. Don't think about, oh, I want to help that person so they shut up. They will shut up eventually, but you have to give a lot, a lot, a lot. So that's the first power you can work out. So you can make a little lab in your home of that. The second power is, it's called like accommodation, but that means to make agreements with other people. There is a guy, I think he's Mexican. He wrote many years ago the Four Agreements, a book about the four agreements you have to do with, you have to make with yourself and others. And that's extremely important. If it's something that you have to live with the other person, now if you are sleeping in the same room with someone who is snoring and you don't like that, you can't tolerate, it's too much. But you can accommodate, you can create some schedules, you can help the other person to solve their problem, or you can buy something there and that's it. So there is always something you can do. Accommodation is a very powerful power, very powerful, because we have to live with so many things every day, and you have to accommodate to them. And that's very interesting how it works. And I moved from my country many, many years ago. First, I went to Chile. I lived there for 2 years. I went back to my country. And it was interesting because when I was living there in Brazil, there were some things I couldn't tolerate. It was unbearable. People were doing things and I didn't like them. But when I left the country and I went back, I saw my own country in a different way. I really, uh, I really start to understand the beauty of the language I spoke. I speak still, not that good, but I speak. I start to appreciate the music. Oh my God. I start to appreciate the personality. And I start to learn how to accommodate, how to make agreements with other people, how to respect them as they are, but create a space where both of us, or the three or four or 10 of us, can work together. And that year I spent in Brazil before coming to Colombia was essential for the rest of my life. Was a total change, a break point in my life. And the main reason was to learn how to make agreements, how to create a different situation, a different perspective. So just reach out to other people. Just start to make agreements with everyone. And the image, again, the image they uses like a river. So the river is a body of water that's crossing through a field. And of course, the river will accommodate to that path. But at the same time, the path will accommodate to the river too. And both together, they will create something beautiful and something essential for life. These are the two powers. Both of them you can get from meditation also. Accommodation, tolerance, I did a little exercise with you, right? No, some time ago. Now, accommodation is the same thing. You know, even when you stop doing something, you are still you. The river, it has to accommodate to the shape, to the place, but the river still is water, is still a river. So just think about how great you are, how wonderful you are. Think about you are a river. It meets so many rivers, and you have to give them a bit of your water, and they have to give you a bit of their water. You give something beautiful, and they give something which is wonderful. So these are the two main powers you should be working right now, if especially if you are living presentially with other people, but also if you are going to so many Zoom meetings or other platform meetings, we are talking with people all the time. So these are the two powers that will help you. It's okay? Yeah? Do you like it? Mhm. Okay, I'll give you two powers more. Okay? Two more powers that will help you. First one is cooperation. And cooperation, think of yourself crossing the bridge, reaching out to the other person, and give them the best of your place, the best of your heart, the best of you. And normally, cooperation is needed when the task benefits both all the parts or is too big for one person. So everybody has to cooperate. And that's what we are seeing in this world now. You can read the news about bad things, you can see the numbers increasing all the time, you can do whatever you want. But if you if you have some spare time, just check about the new heroes, the new people who are giving much, much more. And they are trying to cooperate as much as possible. It's been an amazing journey for humankind. It seems that we need this virus to learn to live with other people who are different than us, to learn to appreciate them more and more and more and more and more. And it's amazing. And that's cooperation. You give your best. Don't worry, others will give you their best too. The last power I'm going to talk today is to face, because sometimes there is something really wrong here. So you have to face the other person. So there is a very simple formula you can use. First of all, feel the respect you have for the other person, a genuine respect, something that comes from your heart. And then feel the love you have for the other person. Any relationship has some love in there. Respect plus love is equal to assertiveness. And that's basically facing others. I know that some people, they are, when you say, oh, that person is very assertive, normally you mean that, well, their edges are a little rough or they are a little blunt. But assertiveness means you say whatever you want to say, but with respect and deep love, because that's how it works. I help the other person to be a better person. So it's not that I'm selfish and I don't like this. It means if the other person fixes that, it will be better for them. You see the change of mind? So, with these four powers, particularly the two main ones, tolerance and accommodation, and these two now, what you are doing, you start to increase your resilience, increase your resilience. So when you go through a little crisis, fighting, discussion, some disagreement, they want to watch Netflix, you don't, some this type of things that's happening now, and someone is using the cell phone there in the room, so I can't use the cell phone here because I'm using the Wi-Fi. They are using the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is like never. So stop, just stop, just go inside, check your tolerance, see if it's tolerance, if it's something that happens from time to time. Check if it's something constant. So accommodation. Maybe they need cooperation, or just face the other person and talk with very deep love, and everything will be okay. So I hope this helps in all this situation. So many people are doing so much to help, and thank you for the Miami Meditation Center to also give me the opportunity. And there are a few questions here. Um, oops. So first of all, it's important to grow from crisis and not just to return to normal. Normal wasn't working. I prefer transformational resilience. Yeah, that's good. Thank you for the comment. And Julio is asking two things. Resignation is equal to letting go and surrendering. Yeah. Well, let go normally has a good sense, at least nowadays, right? When you let go, normally means you are releasing something bad and you are growing to something good. I remember when I start to hear that verb, um, it was a movie when the other person was holding, they are holding there. So so the person above the other one was having pressure. So they were saying, let go, let go. So it was not a good sense. And resignation is not exactly like that. A person who is who resigned to change and to transform and to do any change, any good thing, they accept reality. In that sense, is not bad. But they accept it in a very negative, passive, sad way. They are not trying to grow, to increase, to improve somehow. So that's the difference between resignation with let go. So you could say like surrendering. Yeah, when an army is surrendered to another army, so they lose rights. They lose lots of rights, and that's what happened with resignation. So it's very, very negative normally. Also, Julia, there's another question. Life is in a constant duality, light and dark, and short, tall. Resilience, resistance. Is it the other side of the duality? Yeah, like body, soul. Yeah. Resistance, and again, I'm not talking about the resistance by the French in relation to the Nazi occupation. I'm not talking about that type of resistance, which was an act of heroes. I'm talking about that. Um, I'll say, for instance, some examples that there are people in Colombia. We are in a full quarantine process. Well, it's not that full. Slowly, it's opening. On Monday, we'll have like half of the country out working. The other half, we are supposed to be inside, like me, still waiting. And so resistance is that some people, they don't want to be inside when they are not supposed to be inside. Um, the most horrible example was one funeral that was there, and so lots of people went to take leave from the person there, and well, respect the memory, but it was a crowd, and that person happened to have the virus. They found out just later. So of course, all those people, they were in danger, and I think some of them, they also were with the virus. So that's a resistance I try to go against. A very beautiful example I saw about resilience is in your country, United States, a wonderful family. They are like 39 people living in one house. It's amazing. And most of them are, of course, adoptive children, and beautiful couple. And then coronavirus came, and about 20 of them were positive. That was very bad. But they didn't resist. They accept all the rules, everything. So they create a routine. They make like a game. So every day they have to clean. Every day they have to do this and to do that. The mother, she went to hospital for 4 days. So she created a whole system there. So everything was working. And that's resilience instead of resistance. This is the situation. So I'm not going to, I have to accept the situation as it is, but I'm not going to give up. I will work. In fact, resilience makes you very creative. And oh, Julie, only asking questions today. Thank you. Or task, if the heart perceives is being taken advantage or is being put under pressure, is it better to surrender, let go at that point? Ego not involved? Well, I would say that, and that I say in my book, the unpublished book that I have, um, if you're feeling under pressure with another relationship, if things are not well and you are feeling things are not okay, try to save the relationship first, because remember, that relationship exists for a reason. It's making you grow in a certain way, so don't give up yet. Try to insist a little bit, at least maximum. Then you can use the power to face, to talk to the other person and solve, and then make whatever decision comes from. But as much as possible, increase your resilience and work with the other person. But that depends on you. That's the only thing I say is, uh, just don't let go like that. Just try a little bit. And and Meredith, hello Meredith. If we could regularly turn to these powers of accommodation tolerance, life would be so much better. I agree, 100%, you know? And it's so easy, in fact, to tolerate other people or accommodate them. When I can't tolerate, I accommodate. I just talk to myself, this is the reality I'm living, so let me see how to live it, how to enjoy it. This is like a roller coaster. I don't know if you like roller coaster. I like. So last time I went to Florida, it was a wonderful time, and I went to many places. So I went to Orlando, so I went to a roller coaster there, and I was enjoying so much. I really enjoyed, and life is like that. So if you are tolerant, sometimes it's just a moment. It's just something the other person is doing. You have to accommodate other times. Okay, okay. I think that's it. Thank you very much. It's a pity I don't see everybody there, but I suppose you are all there, right? You didn't leave me talking by myself, right? Okay, and it's wonderful. And well, if you know anyone who speaks Spanish or Portuguese, talk to us. I'm going to give a lecture in Portuguese next Wednesday. It won't be that best called Portuguese, but it's Portuguese. And then in Spanish, also have many programs, and many centers of Brahma Kumaris, they have many programs. Thank you so much. So I'd like to just lead you a meditation. I don't know, Tej, if you are there, if you can put just a little music in the background, and and resilience starts with understanding. Okay, and resilience is also starts with yourself. So self-understanding is very, very important. So let me just go inside myself and let me see myself as light, as something precious, wonderful. Let me see myself as I normally often think of myself, as a good person, a person who wants to grow. Just let me go beyond the roles, responsibilities. Let me just focus on the light behind everything I do, the light I am. And let me see my relatives, friends, co workers, neighbors, and other people I meet anywhere also as light, just a point of light. And when I have a healthy relationship, my life is like a Christmas tree full of light, beautiful. So let me visualize me and my community like lamps that are lit all the time. Sometimes one light's brighter than the other, but that makes the tree even more beautiful, the variety. Sometimes a storm comes and try to extinguish the light. But instead of resisting, I just increase the oil, increase the power, so my light doesn't go off. And I help others too to protect themselves. When some light tries to steal some of my bright, I just give them because I have enough light. I can give a piece of my light to them, no problem. A piece of my love, power, courage, determination. Sometimes even a light tries to even extinguish me. Well, I just negotiate. I talk. I talk from the heart. I talk what I feel because I know it to be good for the other one to not extinguish my light because the other one will be even brighter because of that. So whenever I meet someone presentially, virtually, by phone, let me think of that person as a light and let me feel my tolerance, my accommodation power. Let me extend the net of cooperation and sometimes let me face it, the other person, if it's necessary. And let's all of us move on. Let's go to this new world that's coming one day. Thank you. My gratitude to everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful Saturday, Sunday, and everything's okay with you. And thank you very much for the Miami team for organizing this. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.